Hey folks, I'm going to do some D&D game design today. Give me a second here. I've got a thing I got to resolve down here. There we go. Okay, I just had to fix my screens. Let's see. Yeah, we're doing a color mana conversion, combining D&D with Magic the Gathering, creating a color magic spell point variant rule system. It's already published on the DMsGuild. We might be looking at some references to that today, but all that stuff is linked in the description down below. You can check it out. Give me a second here while I go through tagging all my shit here on social media, which is normally done by people like while you're seeing like the 3-minute countdown. I don't have a 3-minute countdown. I just have me yammering at you guys for a few minutes while I try to crack this stuff out. So give me a second here. It only takes a moment for me to update it, so I'm going to try to distract you with my origin story. So, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And I am creating content for Dungeons and Dragons. There we go. That posted okay. And I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a Magic the Gathering enthusiast since 1994. I've been a freelance illustrator that once dreamed of doing art for Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons. No longer, but I've been a freelance illustrator regardless since 1999. And I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. The first book that I published on my own is the Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rule System that was inspired by the Ravnica setting that was published in 2016. But they took the settings, the plane of Ravnica from Magic the Gathering, but dropped it into the Vancian Magic 8-school spell slot system that is common to D&D, but is kind of antithetical to the color mana system from Magic the Gathering. So that's what got me started on creating. There we go. My volume's good now. That's what got me started on creating content for D&D 5e, and it's been 7 years, and I keep putting out books. We're building an Eberron adventure right now. Last year was the Spelljammer combat and exploration conversion system that I created. We've been working on the Bastion campaign system to add the same type of depth of options and narrative choices to the Bastion system as we provided for the Spelljammer system, as well as for the color mana system. Hey, freelancer, how you doing? Well, I'm glad to have you here. Cheers. Stick around for however long you want. Everyone is a blessing to me, so thank you. And on that note, I think I'm done pontificating. We're going to continue redesigning the WIzard Subclasses from 2014. If you think this stuff is cool, consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell icon for We have new subscribers today. Thanks a lot, guys. I am thrilled that people get what it is that we're trying to do here and want to see more. Thank you. Here's the color mana system, all the books on DMsGuild, as well as a bunch of other books that I've created. They all have free previews. Be welcome to check them out, use them. If you think they're cool, consider purchasing them to encourage similar behavior in the future. And like all the other books that I publish with 100% free preview, the Martial Powers playtest document is a read-only Google Doc that you can have access to right now. And this is where we've basically been dumping all of the information for the color magic conversion for 2025 rules, as well as the entire martial power system. That is a way for martial characters that don't cast spells to have a system to use mana the same as spellcasters do, so that all 13 classes in D&D can use the same color mana system specifically for Magic the Gathering. But I've been using it in Eberron because color magic, it's literally color. It's a literal visual reference and narrative information that is so easy to just drop in as a DM. Just mention the colors of the stuff that you see. And when if your team isn't already familiar with what MTG colors are, it doesn't take very long for them to get how the color system reflects different types of magic in a traditional D&D game. And once your team internalizes what these colors mean, you can just throw that language around and it automatically pops in their head. Talking about white, maybe there's some sort of defensive stuff going on. Popping black, might want to make sure that we've got our hit dice around. Stuff like that. So it internalizes language for the team because color, the color magic system, the 5 colors of MTG are so intuitive. And I think we built a really good machine for 2014, but amazingly, the 2025 mechanics, the new books that Wizards put out are even easier and better to use color mana with than what 2014 had done. So I am loving this project. It's a heavy lift. It's gonna take a while for us to build it out. I provide the raw document, the playtesting stuff here online for people to be able to look at, understanding that eventually these are all going to be built through the same writing process that we build here on stream, the same layout project, and then the same artwork that we do in the mornings will eventually be applied to all of these books. We've already built them all in 2014. We're now updating all of them with the revised rules that I've been using for a number of years now. That this is a great opportunity for me just to codify, simplify, and rebuild everything from that 2024 point moving forward. Whether or not Wizards decides to publish more settings from the MTG universe or not, we're going to have a really deep mechanical language to set up as the underlying physics of how the world works using the color mana philosophy system. So it's just setting us up to succeed, and it's opening up so many avenues for us to be able to express games in the 5e game engine differently than where Wizards has been willing to take it, to allow us to actually lean into that color magic system that is so awesome from MTG. So I know, thanks Sona. It's so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool. I am blessed and thankful that I was the conduit through which this thing could get expressed. So without further ado, we still have the Order of Scribes and the Tradition of War Magic for the Wizard to get through. We finished the Sorcerer. I finished all the martial classes: Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, as well as the Artificer and Warlock. So 8 of the 13 are completed. We finished the Sorcerer as our 9th. We're finishing our Wizard, which will be the 10th, and then we'll have Druid, Cleric, and Bard to resolve all of their Forsaken subclasses from 2014, and to make sure that this document has all the updates from 2025 for how these classes operate under the color mana system. The entire thing is going to be laid out here and usable for people to use from level 1 to 20 at any point to start running their campaigns right away. Just as a reminder, I'm gonna pull this document out in a way. My Discord channel is here. It's free access to anybody who wants to tag in. If you have questions about the system, how stuff works, you are welcome to just drop down into the color mana channels on my Discord and ask anything. I love mucking about with the system, theory crafting, white room designing, class progressions, creating monsters and magical gear, as well as arguing and debating over, what kind of, like what color should hold person be or stuff like that. So we have all that stuff out there for you guys, and you're welcome to interact with it. And if somebody can call out something that I'm wrong about, I am very, very open to becoming better educated and more well-rounded in my color theories with D&D and MTG, just to make it work more smoothly. There is no pride. It's just an honor to make the project as good as I can and as fluid and easy to operate as possible. So having gotten through all the Sorcerer classes here, we go into the Wizard. We have the full scaffold for the Wizard, including the mana that you gain, the spells that you acquire, all the class features broken down with the color mana language integrated into it. We don't have to change things unless they're talking about spell slots, spell acquisition. That's most of where the heavy lifting comes from. is converting all the language about like use a spell slot or a spell of this school, bloody blah, stuff like that. Converting the schools into colors and converting spell slots into spell points, keeping the balance intact without increasing the power level. We have a number of flexible gains and restrictions that both expand and limit how spellcasting can be utilized in the 5e game engine through the color mana system. Obviously, we don't have schools of magic, so we've stripped out the tradition of like the diviner or the necromancer, and we replaced them with the traditions of white magic, blue magic, black magic, red magic, green magic. These are all basically combinations of the 8 schools reconfigured to fit the themes of the five colors in the color pie. So we've gotten through the basic ones. Now we're looking at the Forsaken WIzard subclasses, and these are the subclasses that were published in 2014 rules, but not updated to 2024. Below is the conversion to both 2024 and not martial power rules and color mana spell point rules. There we go. So we already took care of the tradition of blade singing. We did that yesterday. We did the Order of Scribes yesterday as well. 1, 2, 3 spaces. No, we didn't. We didn't do the Order of Scribes. The first one we got through, we got through the tradition of blade singing. And now we're doing the Order of Scribes, and then we'll do tradition of war magic. And then when we come back on Thursday, we'll start doing the same for the Druid. Most of the Druid is all the core 2024 stuff for Druidism, but we want to take care of all the subclasses, the Forsaken subclasses from 2014, and make sure that all the features from the 2024 Druid are present in this book to make sure that you don't have to flip between too many books to be able to create characters with this stuff. Any chance of the Planeswalker class in the future? I don't think a Planeswalker should be a class. Planeswalker, I think, my personal opinion, I would rather characters in an MTG game use Weatherlight or a similar spelljamming ship to move from plane to plane, as well as using plane shift and teleport spells to be able to transfer between worlds. I think if you were to run a Planeswalker campaign, to run it accurately, it's unrestricted plane shifting, where you could at any time for any reason decide to hop planes. Maybe you would have an exhaustion meter that goes on with it, but if you're running a true Planewalker campaign, you're not really doing. It's very high level because your ability to jump between worlds is massive, and that's more of a Planescape Spelljammer style of game. So the only thing that a Planeswalker really gets is their ability to jump the eternities between worlds. And I think there's enough mechanics that exist inside of the D&D game engine to compensate for that. If you really wanted to run a Planeswalker game, then all the characters would just simply be able to plane shift without direction. Basically as an action. Just, here we go. We're going to bounce from this world. And if I want to bounce back, I have no idea where I'm going to appear. But I don't think that level of freedom and teleportation starting at level 1 is conducive to a typical structured level 1 to 20 campaign in D&D, unless you're running a very unique campaign where the cast of characters, antagonists, and protagonists are also capable of jumping worlds. Otherwise, you're going to develop this. This is a common problem that we had in second edition with Planescape and Spelljammer, which was you would basically hex crawl your place to a location, you didn't like it, fuck you, I'm out of here, and then all the DM's prep work is wasted. A plane shift campaign unto itself needs to have a strong enough narrative to keep the players stapled to a location long enough to have consequences to the actions that they take. I think the very structure of Planeswalking is very adverse to being accountable for the mistakes that you make. It's just too easy to yeet out of destroying the world. So the Cronenberg paradox, I guess, from Rick and Morty, where you wreck a world, you just go find another world. That world's out there, the DM invested time in it, but the players can just yeet out of it anytime that they want. The thing about plane walking magic and high level teleportation and stuff like that I got 13th level and higher in a D&D game is that if you build your campaign from level 1, by the time you get to 13th level, your character has so many social obligations, grudges, and vendettas that you pretty much know where your character's going to go and who's on their shit list that they're going to want to target. That it starts off really broad at low levels and it slowly cones its way to there's only a few people at this high end where the players really have a hate that they want to end that guy. You know, it's that cultivating that campaign from the ground up that gives you infinite freedom to do whatever you want, but you only want to do this one fucking thing. And everything in the campaign has prevented you from being able to do it. And when you can finally get all your ducks in a row and you can knock out that shot's gonna hit and you're gonna kill the guy that you're gunning for. But it took you 20 levels to get there. And it's satisfying to actually end your campaign at that point. I've ran through too many campaigns at this point from level 1 to 20 for me to deny that this is a reality. That the DM's job is to just accumulate enough bullshit onto the character's shit list that by the time they get to 12th level, they're starting to think the tables are turning. I can now shut this world down. How do I want to do it? And what changes do I want to have happen? And at that point, they lock themselves in on what their goals are. They aren't just yeeting off to Tahiti to hide from, Nox Iblis smoking a cigarette or something. No, it's like, no, we're going after that demon. We're going to take him out. And that becomes like their priority, and all of their resources bend towards that goal. This is just what players do. As soon as they get a high enough level and they don't get kicked around anymore, they want payback. And they want to pay back every asshole in the campaign that's wronged them, that they haven't been able to make square with. At that point, the DM's job is just easy. Just line up people for them to tear down, have a loose connection so they can easily transition from one to the other, have an underlying plot that allows you to have a smooth narrative connection between all these different targets. And whoever is the last to get killed ends up being the biggest of the bads that the team will have satisfaction to be able to cross that last guy off of their hit list. And that's typically a good point to end your campaign. And if you curve the timing well, it will end when they're 20th level. Once you hit 20th level, you're done. So anything after that is just basically playing with your food until you decide to end the campaign and start up something new. So that's my philosophies behind it, though. I mean, take me for what I'm worth. Let's see. But I'm obviously tangenting hard. I only have an hour, so let me see if I can stay on task. No worries, my man. I appreciate it. Yeah, no kidding. Exactly. 2 worlds in a disaster. That's exactly the point. Dude, no, man. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you, my guy. No, you don't worry about it. The history is here. You ask the questions, I answer it. You can come back and reference it anytime. Zona, you are a friend to the channel, and you're always welcome to throw out shit at me and to shit test me and to make sure that I know what I'm actually talking about. It's an innocent, sincere question. I take it as an opportunity for me to test myself to see if my head is screwed on straight. And if my ideas make sense, it's probably a good idea that my head's screwed on straight. So I love it. It's perfectly good to me. So sticking on task, let's get into the order of the scribes. We have Ye Olde D&D Beyond. Let's crack that open. I'm going to go to classes. Where's my drop down, dude? I think they're changing how D&D Beyond is. They're not improving the search engine results, but they're changing. There we go. Classes. Occasionally a different UI pops up, and it makes me think that they're shittifying their website already. Seriously, Wizards, if you're listening at all, please, for God's sake, invest in your search engine on your website. It is way too... It pulls up obscure information way too readily. Try to do a search for what was one I had a problem with? Nick. Try to just look up Nick. You can type in Nick and it won't find it. But if you try to type in something weird like masteries, you'll eventually find Nick. You'll find people's names Nick easier than you'll find the weapon property Nick in the search engine on D&D Beyond. It's a tragedy, honestly. A legit tragedy. Fix your shit. You spend a ton of money having access to these tools. Make them work. It's your primary job. And now that you don't have now that Project Sigil's gotten flushed down the toilet, maybe you can free up your resources to actually fix this shit. So good luck to you, my guy. Good luck to you. That is me throwing shade at wizards as hard as I can throw it. Sometimes they deserve it. Wizards Quill, Awakened Book, Manifest Mind, Master Scrivener, one with the word, and that's it. So, let's see. Level 3, level 6, 10, and 14. I'm just going to grab the whole block of this. Like such. And we'll just rebuild it as needed. I'm going to open up my trusty notepad because this is often the easiest way for me to transport information from D&D Beyond into our document. God bless the Creative Commons. All of the base scaffolding for D&D 5e24 is available on Creative Commons now. So now we're just modifying stuff and giving it to DMsGuild for usage, but we may be able to propagate more of these things on my Patreon once I get these books published and we have a common language to operate with. So, class features. Let's take a look. We're going to start with the Wizardly Quill. I am not a big fan of the Order of Scribes. It feels bloated and just it just feels like it makes things too easy, but we'll see. We'll see how shit shakes out. No. Yes. As a bonus action, you can magically create a tiny quill in your free hand. The magic quill has the following properties. The quill doesn't require ink. When you write with it, it produces ink in the color of your choice on the writing surface. The time you must spend to copy a spell into your spellbook equals 2 minutes per spell level if you use the quill for the transcription. You can erase anything you write with the quill if you wave the feather over the text as a bonus action, provided the text is within 5 feet of you. Nothing broken here so far. The quill disappears if you create another one or if you die. There's nothing wrong with that unto itself. Let's look at level 3, which is Awakened Spellbook. A lot of bullet points coming off of this subclass at level 1 or level 3. Not a fan of so many bullet points. Oh boy, oh boy. Let's see what we can do to help make this easy. Using specially prepared inks and ancient incantations passed down by your wizardly order, you have awakened an arcane sentience within your spellbook. While you're holding a book, it grants you the following properties. I don't need so many spaces. You can use the book as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. When you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot, when you cast a wizard spell by expending mana, when you expend mana, to cast a wizard spell, you can temporarily replace its damage type with a type that appears in another spell in your spell book, which magically alters the spell's formula for this casting only. The latter spell must be of the same level as the spell slot you expend, which magically alters the spell formula. The latter spell must be of the same level. The wording there is a little off. Let's see. The amount of mana expended must equal the level of the latter spell. You can temporarily replace this damage type with the type that appears in another spell in your spellbook. Must equal the level of the latter spell in your spellbook. The amount of mana expended must equal the level of the latter spell in your spellbook. There you go. And when you cast a wizard, that's a weird requirement. Do I need that requirement? The amount, no. The amount of mana expended must equal or exceed the level of the latter spell in your spellbook. To do so, the amount of mana expended must equal or exceed the level of the latter spell. That I actually like. I'm actually really, really good with that. When you cast a wizard spell as a ritual, you can use the spell's normal casting time rather than adding 10 minutes to it. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. I'm okay with that. If necessary... Oh, wait a second. When you cast a wizard spell as a ritual, you can use the spell's normal casting time rather than adding 10 minutes to it. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. And you cannot... untap the mana expended the ritual this way, period. What am I talking about? Hold on. If necessary, you can replace the book over the course of a short rest by using your wizardly quill to write arcane sigils on a blank book or a magic spell book to which you are attuned. At the end of the rest, your spell book's consciousness is summoned into the new book, which the consciousness transforms into your spell book, along with all its spells. If the previous book still existed somewhere, all the spells vanish from its pages. Yeah, I'm okay with that. If necessary, you can replace the book over the course of a short rest by using your wizardly quill to write arcane sigils in a blank book. At the end of the rest, your spellbook's consciousness is summoned into the new book, which the consciousness transforms into your spellbook along with its spells. If the previous book still exists somewhere, all the spells vanish from its pages. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Once you use this benefit, you can't do so again, and you cannot untap the mana expended to cast the ritual this way. If you are maintaining concentration to do so. If you are maintaining concentration on it. So let me point this out. This is one of the fun variant rules. Chunk. Let's find it. Okay, here's the MTG system here. Again, this is the 2014 rules, and we're updating all of these, but they're still relevant. So here's the bundle of all the books. And what we're citing right now is specifically from the core mechanics. And you can see here that it is a 75-page book. So when I open up the full preview here, you can see all 75 pages are present. It is a full preview from cover to cover. Let's look at simplified durations. Instantaneous spells, persistent spells, concentration. Let's see. Variant rules, tapping mana, multi-spell concentration, shared spell limits, simple spells. There we go. Simple spells. The following spells are simple. Some effects are modified when using simple magic mechanics as noted below. Untapping simple magic. Here we go. Using this variant, a select number of concentration spells referred to as simple spells can be cast and dismissed at no cost. If the caster loses concentration while maintaining the spell, the mana is burned. But if dismissed, the mana is returned to the mana pool to be used again. This is referred to as untapping mana. When casting a spell as simple magic, all mana or sorcery points tapped must be devoted to the color of the spell, and these spells may be cast as common magic as normal by tapping other colors with 1 mana devoted to the spell's color, but the mana will burn if dismissed and disrupted. When using duration rules in the player's handbook, spells that expire at the end of their spell's duration are considered dismissed and untapping without burning. So, comprehend language, detect good and evil, detect magic, detect disease and poison and disease, featherfall, find familiar, speak with animals, tensor's floating disc, and unseen servant. For the most part, these are ritual spells. So you could spend 10 minutes casting detect magic, and you don't have to spend a spell slot to do so. Or you could spend 1 point of mana because you maintain concentration on detect magic. While you're maintaining concentration, that point of mana that you have tapped, you are concentrating on it, but when you're done detecting magic, you can dismiss the spell. And because it was a ritual spell that you were maintaining concentration on, you get your mana back. That's called untapping. Untapping doesn't get used a lot, but this is an instance where it does, where it's inconvenient for you to spend 10 minutes to do the ritual just so that you don't have to have a spell slot tax. Well, with spell points in general, you have so many spell points that spending a point to do detect magic isn't generally a big problem. But it's also a ripoff because in D&D 5e, you could just spend the 10 minutes. You don't have to spend the mana at all. Well, to give you that bridge so that you can pull off these spell effects without having to spend 10 minutes during the process to do so, you put up the point of mana, you put it at risk. You do the thing. If you get the answer that you need, then you let go of you dismiss the power and you get the mana back. If something occurs that causes your concentration to get disrupted, then you'll lose the mana because you lost concentration and you flubbed the spell, so it gets burned. But if you're in a peaceful circumstance where you're just trying to read a book in a weird language, then you could do the 10-minute ritual and slow down the process, or you could just tap the point of blue mana, read the language, and then let it go. So it still ties up one of the spells that you can have prepared for the day. So it's taxing your resources in that sense. But if you can just do it for free in 10 minutes anyway, why not have a trap in the book that when you use comprehend languages and now you're going through the book, you could trigger the trap, which forces a saving throw, which then botches your concentration that costs you the point. So there is also a risk reward that involves there. As we go through the 2024 updates, we will be expanding on the list of simple spells that are available for you, but you have to maintain concentration on them to get the mana back. So that'll be fun, and we'll go through that process. So, yeah, we're going to go through that process. But that's what that language means. It was important to point that out. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so again until you finish the long rest, and you cannot untap the mana expended to cast the ritual. And if you cast the ritual as simple magic, actually, without expending mana to do so, period. That's actually the simplest way to do so. You can't do again until you finish the long rest. That's actually the simplest way of expressing this. That sounds redundant unless you're using simple magic. If you're using simple magic, then this does make sense. You don't have to tap any mana to forgo the ritual. You can do it once. Perfect. That actually makes a lot of internal sense. So we'll keep that. Level 6. What you got? Manifest Mind. Boy, that's a lot of text. I just don't like how wordy all of this is. There's nothing what's the word? It takes a ton of detail to type out what the fuck is going on with this stuff. I'm not a fan of how bulky it is. You can conjure forth the mind of your awakened spellbook as a bonus action. While the book is on your possession, you can cause the mind to manifest as a tiny spectral object. Hovering in an unoccupied space of your choice within 60 feet of you, the spectral mind is intangible and doesn't occupy its space, and it sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius. It looks like a ghostly tome, a cascade of text, or a scholar from the past, your choice. While manifested, the spectral mind can hear and see. It has dark vision, range 60 feet. The mind can telepathically share with you what it sees and hears, no action required. Whenever you cast a wizard spell on your turn, you can cast it as if you were on the spectral mind space instead of your own, using its senses, and you can do so a number of times per day, equal to your proficiency bonus and equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of 1. And your again, I'll expend it uses when you finish a long rest. Or by expending 2 mana, no action required. You can use this feature a number of times. By expending, if you're, let's see, you can use this feature again. You can use this feature after as part of the bonus action. As a bonus action, you can cause the spectral mind to hover up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you or it can see. It can pass through creatures, but not objects. The spectral mind stops manifesting if it is ever more than 300 feet away from you, if someone casts a spell magic on it, if the awakened spell book is destroyed, if you die, or if you dismiss the spectral mind as a bonus action. Once you conjure the mind, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend 2 mana to manifest it again. We're going to drop the 2 mana here and just leave the 2 mana to manifest the mind again here as a cantrip. That feels good. That's the proper placement. Level 10. This is actually pretty easy. Master Scrivener is, yeah, I mean, it's not a horrible subclass. It's just, it's so fucking wordy. And this one is called Master Scrivener. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can create 1 magic scroll by touching your wizardly quill to a blank piece of paper or parchment, causing 1 spell from your awakened spellbook to be copied onto the scroll. The spellbook must be within 5 feet of you and of you when you make this scroll. The chosen spell must be a 1st or 2nd level and must have a casting time of 1 action. Once in the scroll, The spell's power is enhanced, counting as one level higher than normal. You can cast the spell from the scroll by reading it as an action. The scroll is unintelligible to anyone else, and the spell vanishes from the scroll when you cast it or when you finish your next long rest. You are also adept at crafting spell scrolls, which are described in the treasure chapter. The gold and time you must spend to make such a scroll are halved if you use your wizardly quill. I'm okay with that. 1, 2. Yeah, that's fine. The chosen spell must be a first or second level. No mana expended. Okay. No, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. One with the word. One with the word. Jeez, all the just so much text. So much text. Can't you write shorter features? Like quick Corbin Dallas? Your connection to your awakened book has become so profound that your soul has become entwined with it. While the book is in your possession, is on your person, you have advantage on all intelligence arcana checks, as the spellbook helps you remember magical lore. Moreover, if you take damage while your spellbook's mind is manifested, you can prevent all of that damage to you by using your reaction to dismiss the spectral mind, using its magic to save yourself. Then roll 3d6. The spellbook temporarily loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level to that roll or higher. For example, if the roll's total is 9, spells vanish from the book that have a combined level of at least 9, which could mean 1 9th level spell, 3 3rd level spells, or some other combination. If there aren't enough spells in the book to cover this cost, you drop to 0 hit points. Until you finish 1d6 long rests, you are incapable of casting the lost spells, even if you find them on a scroll. God, that is such a complicated. That's more complicated to keep track of than exhaustion. I mean, you could cross out the spells, but it's just. I am not a fan of that. Once you use this reaction, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. God, it's yeah. While the book is in your person, you have advantages on all intelligence arcana checks, as the spell book helps you remember magical lore. After you finish the required number of rests, the spells reappear in the spell book. Once you use this reaction, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Destroys the mind and takes with it a number of levels. Moreover, if you take damage while your spellbook's mind is manifested, you can prevent all of that damage to you by using your reaction to dismiss the spectral mind, using its magic to save yourself. Then, completely separate from whatever the damage is, roll 3d6. The spellbook temporarily loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level equal to that roll or higher. For example, okay, you're going to be 14th level when you have this. You're going to have a shitload of spells. For example, if the roll's total is 9, it could be 18, so you have to have 18 levels worth of spells. For example, if the roll's total is 9, Spells vanish from the book that have a combined level of at least 9. If there aren't enough spells in the book to cover the cost, you drop to 0 hit points. Until you finish 1d6 long rests, you're incapable of casting the lost spells. When you finish a long rest, you regain 1 spell. You regain 1 spell. One randomly selected spell. Each reappearing in the spell book. One randomly selected spell reappears in your spell book, and you can cast, and you can again prepare and cast the spell as normal. When you finish a long rest. Nope. When, it should be like, when you finish a long rest, 1 randomly selected spell reappears in your spell book, and you can again prepare and cast a spell as normal. Finish the long rest. Wordy, wordy, wordy. God damn, that's wordy. Your connection to your awakened spellbook has become so profound that your soul has become entwined with it. Whatever, flavor text. Go away. While your awakened spellbook is on your person, you have advantages on all intelligence, as the spellbook helps you remember magical lore. Moreover, if you take damage while your spellbook's mind is manifested, you can prevent all of that damage to you by using your reaction to dismiss the spectral mind, using its magic to save yourself. Then roll 3d6. The spellbook temporarily loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level equal to that roll or higher. The spellbook temporarily loses 1d6 plus your max spell level gained as a wizard loses a number of spells, loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level equal to 1d6 plus your max spell level. For example, if the total number of spell levels lost is 9, spells vanish from the book that have a combined level of at least 9, which could mean 1 9th level spell, 3 9, or some other combination. If there aren't enough spells in the book to cover this cost, you drop to 0 hit points. Once you use this reaction, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. That 3d6 that was pissing me off. That you could lose 3 levels, you could lose 18 levels. There's too much it's too much swing for what it's offering. I want to sting you. You can get rid of any amount of damage by dismissing it. I want it to hurt. So d6 plus the max spell level gained as a wizard at 14th level, that's going to be at least 7. So it's d6 plus 7, but it'll never be more than 10. It'll never be more than 16, which is less than the 18 that you could have, but it's certainly more than 3. So is that fair? Let's see. Have a combined spell level equal to, what about 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier? I think I like that even better. So it could actually be 0. Like if you're dumb enough, you might not actually lose any spell levels. What an exploit. Plus your intelligence modifier. I love that. That's equal to 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier. I legitimately like that. For example, the total number of spells levels lost is 9. Because with this, I mean, again, it's going to be anywhere from 3 to probably 18. It could be 0. If you have a -2 to your intelligence, cheers. Once you, I personally love that. Once you use this reaction, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. When you finish a long rest, 1. Is that super cheeky of me or what? It's certainly more generous than spell levels gained as a wizard. That's actually pretty harsh for what it is. Oh man, but I like that. I just think that's fun. 3 to 18. This is probably going to take us from 8 to 18. Nah, I'm good with it. I'm good with that. I just think that's funny. All right, so let's go ahead and step past that, and let's get into Tradition of War Magic. So, guess we'll go ahead and grab this. Our features. We'll just pick this up again. Grab all of these. I don't know. Maybe it's cheeky to have the intelligence modifier be how many levels you lose. I kind of like it, though. I kind of like it. It's not normal for you to scale up your penalty in the game. I kind of like it. Okay, cool. Let's check out the... I can come back and visit that. I'm willing to revisit that, but right now that tickles me, so I'm keeping it. Arcane Deflection, Tactical Wit, Power Surge, Durable Magic, and Deflecting Shroud. So let's first swap all these things out. We're going to need to build a bonus spell list, and I think we're going to have to wait until Thursday to do it. Arcane Deflection. Tactical Wit. Power Surge. Durable Magic. Deflecting Shroud. You learn to weave your magic to fortify yourself against harm when you are hit by an attack, when you're hit by an attack or you fail a saving throw, you can use your reaction to gain a +2 bonus to your armor class or a +4 bonus to the saving throw. When you use this feature, you can't cast spells other than cantrips until the end of your next turn. Oh, interesting. When you are hit by an attack or you fail a saving throw, you can use your reaction to gain a +2 bonus to your armor class against the attack or a +4 bonus to that saving throw. When you use this feature, you can't cast spells other than your cantrip until the end of your next turn. Okay. I don't think it's the greatest of features, but I don't see a reason to change it yet, so I'm going to leave it in place. You give yourself a bonus to your initiative rolls equal to your intelligence modifier. That's actually really fucking good. +2 +4. +4 bonus is weird. You don't see that a lot. Or you fail a saving throw. Potentially changing the result. When you are hit by an attack or fail a saving throw, you can use your reaction to gain mana expenditure. Can't cast spells other than cantrips until the end of your next turn. Cutting off the flow of mana. When you're hit by an attack or fail your saving throw. What we could do is update this so that when you're hit by an attack or fail a saving throw, you can use your reaction to re-roll the d20. To re-roll, keeping the result potentially keeping the new result. When you use this feature, so that's just universal, you just re-roll. When you use this feature, you can't cast spells other than cantrips until the end of your next turn. That's a conditional, so you gain the benefit up front and it makes you pay for it later. I'm not a big fan of benefits on credit. I've never have been. Until the end of your next turn. To re-roll the attack or saving throw, keeping the new result. When you use this feature, you can't cast spells other than cantrips until the end of your next turn. I feel like I want to expend mana when I do this. You can expend 2 mana to use your reaction to re-roll the attack or saving throw, keeping the new result. See, that's a much cleaner 5e design, 5e24 design. It's expensive to do it, but this is already something that you've failed. You get a chance to do again. That's also called Saving Grace, if I'm not mistaken. The Martial Power System. Let's take a look at. Thank you. We have a reaction. Whatever Saving Grace is, that's what this is going to be. Maneuvers. I think Saving Grace is second rank. Saving Grace. Reroll any d20 test, including any number of power dice roll, after you see the result, but before you know if you succeeded. Keep the new result. So it costs 2 manas for you to re-roll the test. This could be an ability check, an attack roll, a saving throw, and it only affects you. This other one, and this is, you don't know if you succeed or not, but if you don't like the look of that number, you can re-roll it, and if you're rolling any power dice that modify the result, you can also re-roll those. On this one, it's already a confirmed fail. This is giving you a chance to re-roll it. If we burn the mana, you might not want to cast another spell next round because you might be low on mana, but this is a good get the fuck out of trouble free card. I think it costing 2 mana is appropriate, so I'm going to leave that in place. I like that. I personally like that. That's called Tactical Wit. No, that's Arcane Deflection. And yeah, you can give yourself a bonus on initiative rolls equal to your intelligence modifier. Minimum of 1. Good. I like that. Power Surge. Starting at 6th level. Type a lot of words. So let's grab this language and drop it into here. Copy, paste. Power Surge. You can store magical energy within yourself to later empower your damaging spells. In its stored form, this energy is called a Power Surge. You can store a maximum number of Power Surges equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of 1. Whenever you finish a long rest, your number of Power Surges resets to 1. Whenever you successfully end a spell with the spell magic or counter spell, you gain a Power Surge. As you steal magic from the spell you foiled. If you end a short rest with no Power Surges, you regain 1 Power Surge. Once per turn, when you deal damage to a creature or object with a wizard spell, you can spend 1 Power Surge to deal extra force damage to that target. The extra damage equals half your wizard level. God, that's a mealy way to do shit. Not a fan of it. Whenever you successfully end a spell with dispel magic or counter spell, you gain 1 power surge as you steal magic from the spell you foiled. If you end a short rest with no power surges, you gain 1 power surge. You get this at 6th level. It's a +3 bonus. Oh boy. So you have to spend 3 mana. And if you fail, you get nothing. But if you succeed at 6th level, you spend a 3rd level spell slot to get +3 damage. Fuck. And then at 20th level, if you cast Dispel Magic or Counter Spell, you spend 3 mana and you get +10 damage. The extra damage equals half your wisdom level. I get what they're trying to do. It's incredibly iffy. I think I want to do this differently. Big surprise. Level 6. Level 6 variant, Power Surge. Okay, let's do this. When you finish a short or long rest, you gain a magical charge called a Power Surge. When you cast a spell that deals damage, you can expend this power. You can expend your Power Surge to deal additional damage equal to half your wizard level. You can regain this. You can regain your charge of Power Surge. You can regain your Power Surge charge when you succeed a saving throw against a spell or successfully dispel or successfully end a magical effect by casting either Dispel Magic or Counter Spell. By casting either Counter Spell or Dispel Magic. You can regain your Power Surge charge when you succeed a saving throw against a spell or successfully end a magical effect by casting either counterspell or dispel magic. That's a lot easier to use, and it's proactive. You start off with a charge, you can burn it. If you want to get that charge back, you can regain your power surge when you succeed a saving throw against a spell or successfully end a magical effect by casting either a counterspell or dispel magic. Now you don't have to worry about storing up a bunch of them. You just automatically get one, and you can regain it based on saving throws. You can choose to fail a saving throw that's cast at you. I see the bag of rats. You can regain your power surge charge when you succeed by expending 3 mana, no action required, or successfully end a magical effect by casting either counterspell or dispel magic. So no matter what, it's going to cost you 3 to do it. You can bag a rats yourself by getting dinged with a ray of frost or whatever, succeed the saving throw, but you're still going to have to spend the 3 mana to get the charge back. This was also, you get 1 charge for free, and every time you find a way to spend a 3rd level spell slot to counter some sort of magic, you also get the charge. This is going to be a lot more useful, that you can control its use. I think that's better. I do. So let's keep that. Durable magic. Copy. Paste. Copy. Paste. While you maintain concentration on a spell, you have a +2 bonus to armor class and all saving throws. Holy shit, that's fantastic. I love that. That's actually a really cool feature. I strongly like that feature. That is super cool. Nice. That +2 AC to all saving throws also affects your concentration saving throws. And then Deflecting Shroud. All right, and that'll bring us to the end. I still feel like we should be adding spell selections to them, but I'm going to hold off on doing that for the time being. 14th level, your Arcane Deflection becomes more infused with more deadly when you use your Arcane Deflection feature, you can cause magical energy to arc from you up to 3 creatures of your choice that you can see within 60 feet of you. Each takes force damage equal to half your wizard level. When you use your Arcane Deflection feature, when you are hit by an attack, or if you fail a saving throw, you can expend 2 mana to use your reaction to re-roll the attack or saving throw, keeping the new result. When you use your Arcane Deflection feature, you can cause magical energy to arc from you up to 3 creatures of your choice. From you, each take arc from you to damage up to 3 creatures of your choice that you can see within 60 feet. Each target takes force damage equal to half your wizard level. So that's going to be 30 points of damage. And that's going to cost you 2 mana. That actually feels really fucking good. Okay, cool. And that finishes up the subclasses. Technically, none of these traditions are getting... 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Any short rests off of the off the Player's Handbook 2014. But if we look at classes and we look at the 2024 classes, the wizard is getting 10 spells over the course of their character's life. I don't think... What did the School of Abjuration do? Yeah, these guys used to not get any spells at all. So now we do get spells with 2024. They get 10 spells of the school of their choice, or in our case, the color. Any spell you want, and make them the color of your tradition. So yeah, this needs to be updated. We need to add 10 spells to each of these, but I do not have the time to do that today. So we are going to just go up here and we're going to fetch some spells. When you reach a wizard level specified in the spells table below, we're just going to erase those. So on Thursday when we come back, we're going to add the spells to each of these subs. And then we're going to start, we'll get in onto the Blade Song spells. There. But that's my lunch is over. I got to bounce. Yep, it's time for me to go. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce out for the day. We'll be back. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning to do more artwork for the Eberron adventure that we're going to be publishing on DMsGuild. And then I'll be back Thursday morning to do so again. Thursday night we'll be back to take care of these list of spells, and then we'll do this whole process. For the sorcerer's already done, so we'll do it for the druid, and then that'll probably take up Thursday and Friday. If we're able to, the next thing we'll do then is cleric, and then after that we'll do the bard, and then all 13 classes will be fully complete. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Really excited about that. All right, that's it for now, guys. I will see you guys hopefully in the morning. Thanks a lot to the new subscribers, man. Really appreciate you guys. If you're new to the channel as well, God bless you for being here. Thanks for checking this stuff out. Join my Discord community. Throw me some change in my Patreon if you want, or if you really want to support me, buy the books that I have linked down below. And, well, hey, thanks a lot, my man. I appreciate you being here. Cheers, and I'll see you all on the other side. Laters.